a tourist, a contemporary tourist, who is living, who is born in 1938, and he's still living like Habermas. Habermas was also a living contemporary sociologist. You see, they became contemporary sociologists in their life, during their life. Sometimes they become contemporary sociologists when we lose them after their death. There are some of, for example, Bourdieu. Actually, Bourdieu was also a contemporary sociologist already before he died. So I shouldn't say. Maybe so far, Wallerstein was also alive when he became a famous contemporary sociologist. And next week, we are going to talk about Eric Ollenwright. He was also alive, and there are others who are alive. Anyway, okay, Giddens. Now, Giddens entered into sociological theory, sociological field, let's call it, with a book in 1971, Capitalism and Modern Social Theory. Capitalism and Modern Social Theory. In this book, let me show it to you. Let me share this with you, the content at least of the book. Here it is. It is this one here. As you can see here, in this book, now let me show you, this is Capitalism and Modern Social Theory, an analysis of writings of Marx, Durkheim, and Max Weber, 1971. And here in the contents, he first starts with Marx, and then goes into Durkheim, and lastly, he goes into Max Weber, and then in chapter 4, he combines them all. He combines them. Actually, this is the first step for him towards developing an approach for himself. Now, not yet done. This is 1971. Now, let me send this away here. In 1972, no, in 1973, he writes another book 2 years later on the class structure of advanced societies. Class structure of advanced societies. Now, this book is again struggling with these theorists, especially Marx, about the class structure. But his 1976 book, The New Rules of Sociological Method, a positive critique of interpretative sociologies. Now, it is interesting. This book, a sociological method, new rules of sociological method. Remember from your second year, second semester. No, first semester actually. History of Sociology 1, Durkheim. When you are discussing Durkheim, you have seen that rules of sociological method is third book of Durkheim. After division of labor and some other material, suicide, and rules of sociological method, and primitive forms of religious life. These are his main books, and rules of sociological method is definitely his main book, because in that book he's establishing sociology as a field studying uh, an objective reality, how social facts are objective. As a positivist sociologist, is trying to demonstrate that, so that sociology will be accepted as one of the disciplines in sciences, in sciences in general, and social science. Now, Giddens is opposing that with new rules of sociological method, and new rules of sociological method. And subtitle of the book is a positive critique of interpretative sociologies. Now, pozitif kritik, olumlu. He's he's positive about them, but he's negative to rules of sociological method of Durkheim. He's he's criticizing negatively objectivism, the possibility of objective social science, social reality, according to Giddens, is not objective, as we will discuss. As I will try to show you how he conceptualizes a society as a result of agent and social structure. But social structure here is a virtual social structure. It is not objective social structure out there, but virtual. We will see that. Now, so this virtual social structure, and emphasis on agents, is actually an approach earlier than Giddens. Uh, Also, you will remember from your second year, second semester, interactionist sociologies and Schutz, others, sociologies that focus on intersubjective relationships from a phenomenological point of view. These are called interpretative sociologies. Now, Giddens is criticizing them positively, while he is criticizing Durkheim negatively, uh, and hence he's establishing himself together with interpretative sociologists, but he introduces a theory of structuration and du, duality of structure, the concept of duality of structure. Now, I will come to that. Now, he continues his studies. For example, in 1982, no, 81, he publishes a contemporary critique of historical materialism. This is volume one. Then he publishes volume two in 1985, 4 years later. So he's really dealing with historical materialism, Marx's theory. In the first volume, he's dealing with power, property, and state. In the second volume, he's dealing with nation state and violence. Again, he's developing his theory. Now, actually, this new rules of sociological method is followed by, in 1984, with the Constitutional Society, outline of a theory of structuration. Now, outline of a theory of structuration, the Constitutional Society, is, I think, Giddens' main book. He exposes his theory, his main concepts of his theory in this book. Now, after that, after 1984, starting actually 1990, there is his third phase. Now, so the first phase is critique of classical sociologists. Second phase is positive critique of interpretative sociologies. And third phase is contemporary society, modernity. For example, in 1990, Consequences of Modernity, one of his important books. Next year, Modernity and Self-Identity, Self and Society in the Late Modern Age. Next year, Transformation of Intimacy. You see, one after another, he is now writing his application of, in a sense, his approach, his concepts into the analysis of the society that now in 90s, people are living during 1990s, I mean, 2000, 2010s, 2020s, really. In, for example, 2000, he has this book, The Third Way and its Critiques. Third Way actually first was published in 1998. Third Way, a renewal of social democracy, a renewal of social democracy. And then in 2000, he has another book, actually two books in the same year, Runaway World. So how global world is carrying the world into the edge of history. He has this the concept of edge of history, and then he goes into a series of books on global age, on especially climate crisis, and then he started writing this textbook, sociology. I don't know which edition you used, but in 2021, ninth edition was already published. So as you see, he is really a very productive sociologist. Now, let me go back to the first book and make you listen about the three classical sociologists. What are their contributions, how each of them look at the society, the society they are living in Marx's case, 19th century, in Durkheim, 19th and 20th century, and for Weber, again, 19th and 20th century. And now let me quickly share with you this video. Now, are you? Let me see. Let me share it. Now, how do I do it? From here, share this one, and here it is. I think now you see this video. Yes, you do. Now, this is in a very short video from his a larger interview with him. But this is the book that I have shown you, the content at the beginning. Now he is talking about it himself.
The final part of the book brings the three writers together. So what were the main differences?
Marx didn't want to just analyze the world as it is.
Okay,
Marx wanted to change the world, therefore.
The other one was the interviewer. Interviewer is interviewing Giddens, Anthony Giddens. So he started with Marx. As I told you, the first chapter is on Marx.
He wanted a different kind of society. That was the main thing that drove his work along. Neither Weber nor Durkheim had that motivation. They were more concerned with the academic study of society. And for Weber, I think, core of Weber's work is about the state and power, political power. He was less interested in economic development, economic change, which he saw as produced primarily by other factors. And Durkheim, he was interested in social, the moral, the ethical. That was the core of his writings. They all overlap a lot, of course. They're all concerned with problems of the emergence of modern industrial society, or modern capitalism, as I called the book.
Students watching this may well be asked to make comparisons between Marx and Weber, or Weber and Durkheim. Now, what's the best way of approaching this?
If you're going to compare Marx, Durkheim and Weber, the best thing to do is to take certain parts of their writings, say certain institutions or areas of social life, and make the comparisons there. So take religion, for example. Marx thought religion was mainly produced by people's material economic concerns. It was like a way of deflecting people's attention away from inequality in society. That's why he said religion is the opium of the people. Religion puts you to sleep because it teaches you that our society as it is okay, that you don't need to try and change it. For Weber, religion was the source of social change. Religion was behind, Protestantism was behind the origins of modern capitalism. It made our society, and increasingly our world, what it is today. Durkheim saw religion in terms of how do you hold a society together? He thought religion was at the core of what a society is. It defines the moral codes of a society, and therefore gives a society much of its character. So if you look at comparison on institutions of religion, you find very clear and evident differences between the three thinkers, and you could do the same thing on the city, comparing the views of urban life, economic change, democracy, many other areas. That's how to do it.
Okay, now let me stop it here. Where was it? Here it is. Yes.
To the book.
Okay. Now this is, as I said, where he started, and then he moved through the criticism of all of the three and tried to formulate his own theory. Now, the core of his theory is this dualities. Now, what are the dualities? The main dualities of sociology, actually. Now, Durkheim's duality was what? It was individual and society. How society is above individual. For Giddens himself, it is the duality, not for himself. He is trying to combine individual and society, agent and structure, micro and macro and micro. You know, he's trying to combine these. That is, he's trying to go beyond them. Who tried to do this? Habermas also did that. Bourdieu also did that. Now, Anthony Giddens is also doing that. Now, how is he doing this? Now, I said that the core of his theory are these two concepts, agent and structure. Now, what is agent? First, let's start agent with the agent. Agent is, instead of Durkheim's individual or everyday language, we use individual. In sociology, instead of individual, agent is used. Agent, we don't, in Turkish, we say özne, but özne is the translation of subject, not agent. The real translation of agent is an Ottoman Arabic word, fail, fail, fail. Now, what is fail? Fail is someone doing, acting. So Giddens is saying that agents are acting society. They are interacting society. So agents are active for Anthony Giddens. They are agents are not passive like in Durkheim. Controlled by rules, coercion. For Durkheim or for Marx, agents, individuals are not are okay. Their interaction is important, but individuals in social structure, their positions in the class structure, and hence those agents who are in the same class are active agents of history. Okay, for Marx, people are making history, but they're making history as classes. But for Anthony Giddens, individual agents are also actively constructing society using social structure. Now, these active agents are stratified. It is not just one level as he conceptualizes it as at the top there is a discursive consciousness of the agent where at that level of consciousness agent can formulate what he's doing. He can give a discourse of what he's doing. This is from Foucault. Now in practical consciousness, the second concept below that, practical consciousness is doing, acting. For example, a shoe producer or mender of the shoes, he does it. He tells you, you go to him and you say, can you mend my shoes? There's a problem with my shoe. Yes, he will say, she will say, and he will take it. And now, if you ask him, if you ask her, how he's going to, he will say something. But if you ask for him, for example, how shoes are made, a more complicated question, he will try to tell you, but not very elaborately. Whereas a technician who is or an engineer in shoe factory who will tell you about the chemistry, about the physical structure of the material out of which the shoes are made, etc. So that's the second level. So the first upper level is discursive consciousness or verbal consciousness. The second level is practical consciousness. Third level, at the bottom, is unconscious. Actually, this is borrowed from Freud. This is borrowed from Freud. As you remember, in Freud, at the bottom, yes, there is it, unconscious. Above it, there is ego, and above it, superego. Now, it's not exactly the same because Anthony Giddens, okay, unconscious, it in both of them there. Ego and superego, this is internal dynamics of the personality for Freud. But for Giddens, Giddens is interested how agents, human agents, are interacting with each other and constructing a society using structures. Now, structures. Okay, we discussed now his conceptualization of agents. Now let's discuss his conceptualization. Now let me send this away. Let me send this away, and now let me be face to face with you. Agent and structure relationship. Now his conceptualization of structure is rules and resources. Okay, now structure is not, like the concept of structure in Marx is, an economic structure, relations of production, and below it, forces of production, and above it, institutions of law and etc. Civil society, etc., etc. Or for Habermas, there is an economic system, an objective economic system, and a political system. But for Giddens, no, the economic, there are a system of society. Yes, but even that system of society is not objective there. Now, that system of society is recursively, through activities of agents, are created with duality of structure. So the main concept actually, Giddens' main concept is duality of structure. Now, as I said that there is agent structure dualism. Now, he goes beyond dualism. He's leaving behind dualisms of individual, society, agent, structure, micro, macro, and combining them. Now, how is he combining agent and structure? With the concept of duality of structure, from dualism to duality. Now, what is duality of structure? Okay, now duality of structure is how an agent uses structure, that is rules and resources of a society, in order to perform, in order to act, while he is acting. Social structure is context and context, medium, and means of his social action. So he uses rules. He's using rules or resources. Now, what are resources? Resources are economic resources, money, credit, or political resources, power, authority. He using and rules about them, rules, norms, and values of the society, rules. So while agents are interacting with each other, they are using cooperatively, actually, they are using rules and resources and acting but their action, the context of their action, the medium of their action, the means of their action are the rules and resources, is the structure. This is the duality of structure. Duality of structure, from that concept, combines agent and structure in the duality of structure. Now, through duality of structure, a society is being accomplished. Society and a system of society. Now, system of society are those institutions, economic institution, political institution, all social institutions that are produced and reproduced. These are, again, two important concepts in Giddens: produced and reproduced, and also transformed if necessary, transformed, produced, reproduced, and or transformed. Reproduction and transformation are alternatives to each other, and hence duality of structure and the process of constructing a society, through duality of structure is called structuration, the process of structuration. Through the process of structuration, social systems are produced and reproduced. But the basic process here is duality of structure. Duality of structure is where structure is context, means, and medium of action. Now, a structure, by becoming medium of action, action is being produced by using structure, but also it is being reproduced. Now, I usually give the example of language. Now, when competent speakers, agents of a language speakers are language speaking agents, when they use a language, they are enacting a verbal action and verbal interchange, an interaction, an intersubjective action, or they are accomplishing they are moving an object, or anyway, they are doing things, practical things, social practices. Now, we are talking about social practices. Now, these social practices, while these social practices are accomplished, they are using language, and they are also performing linguistic behavior. Now, what is that? They are using the grammar of that language, of Turkish, of English, of French, of Russian, whatever language they are talking. They are using the rules and resources of that language. If it is a rich language, they can construct more elaborate, more analytical, or more romantic, or whatever, more poetic, depending on the language performance. Now, by using that language, they are performing a social act, social interaction, but they are also producing and reproducing social structure. That is, grammar of that language, the structure of that language, rules and resources of that language is being reproduced. Now, if it is not being used, now there are some languages like Ottoman, for example. Ottoman, as a language, is not used, or some parts of it are used in Turkish, in contemporary Turkish, or in Azerbaijani Turkish, or in Kyrgyz Turkish, or a Çağatayca. Now it is it is being transformed into contemporary Uzbek language. Now, as long as it is being used in interaction, it contributes, the language contributes, the structure of language contributes to production of social interaction, but thereby that structure is being reproduced. I know. I hope this is clear. He really focuses on this, how this without an objective social structure, how he can explain society, production and reproduction of society and social system. Okay, now we went into the details of the agent, we went into details of the structure and how they come together through duality of structure, and through duality of structure, structuration and system. Social systems are institutions. Now, for Giddens, ontology is more important than epistemology. Ontology, that is how society, social action exists. Ontology is about being, coming into being, ontology. Now, for example, methodologically, epistemologically, he says that he has also an advice, to do how to do social analysis. He says that now it is, of course, difficult to focus on interaction, a small scale interaction, a face-to-face interaction. Now he has actually, like Habermas, he has this two concepts: social integration and system integration. Social integration and system integration. Social integration is face-to-face interaction, where agents are interacting with each other. So when you are focusing on the analysis of interaction order, Goffman's concept of interaction order. Now, when they are analyzing interaction order, interaction between the agents, we can take the institutions into parentheses. Okay, now we know they are there, but now we are focusing on interaction. But if we are focusing on institutions, then we take interaction into parentheses, the interaction of agents into parentheses. So without being objectivist, by rejecting objectivism and functionalism of Parsons' structure of Durkheim, he has written new rules of sociological method, and so he's focusing on how society is produced and reproduced by the active doings of the subjects, agents, in the context of duality of structure. I don't know, this is, I think, a good summary so far. Now, we can go perhaps into a little bit more detail how this discursive, practical, and unconscious levels of agent are using already existing resources that is coming from my previous generation or from the contemporaries, Now, he uses here more phenomenological Schultzian conceptualization, I think, and they are producing an action, a social group, by interacting with each other, but reproducing the structure, the resources, and actually also producing unintended consequences. Okay, actually the intention of the agents is not to construct a system, perhaps, which will come back and control them. It's an unintended consequence. Now, these unintended consequences can become more structure-like, but still, they have to be de-analyzed, deconstructed. Okay, deconstructed, so that they will not be a fetishistic structure above them. Actually, he uses reification, the concept of reification. Now, those produce society, although they are not there objectively, according to Giddens, but they might be reified. Reification, şeyleştirme, reification, şeyleştirme. Actually, from his point of view, what Durkheim is doing is reifying society. He's that is, it is not continuously something that is happening continuously, but it is a reification. Now, of course, one can criticize Giddens here. If reification is also taking place, and some of the institutions are reified, now they are then objective structures, or both objective and subjective. Now, in this case, as you will remember from the second week, Bourdieu is much more clear about this. He says that habitus, now duality of structure and habitus, similar duality of structure in Giddens theory, habitus in Bourdieu's theory. Now, Bourdieu says that social reality exists at two levels. One, it exists in the consciousness, in the society existing in the consciousness, in the mind of the agent, in the mind of the agent, subjectively. Habitus is subjective, internalized, subjective form of external society out there existing, but existing, of course, with the interactions of the agents. Now, so it exists both inside and outside, both subjectively and objectively. But for Giddens, it is intersubjective, mostly subjective. Now, when it becomes rules and properties of the of the systems, of the institutions, now, yeah, from the Bourdieu point of view, it's actually objective, and existing an institution existing outside, an institution which is integrated, through system integration. Now, system integration is integrating groups and villages and cities and societies and global economic system, political system, global civil society. Now, but Giddens is emphasizing that he is remaining with phenomenologists, symbolic interactionists, Goffman and Weber. For Weber, the social action is can be understood through Verstehen, through interpretatively. It is intersubjective, interaction. For types of action. Remember, we talked about this when we were talking Habermas too. Remember, you see, Habermas, Bourdieu, Giddens, three of them can be compared, because they are dealing with the similar concepts, but creating a different approaches. So for students, for us, for you, while doing our research, we have to combine them anyway. We will try to see from which perspective, Bourdieu perspective, Giddens perspective, or Habermas perspective, or Foucault perspective. Which perspective is better in this research? You see. Now, I said that the structure, when he is talking about structure, he's talking about rules and resources. Now, in the rules case, where are the rules? Rules are in signification structures. What is signification? Signification is anlamlandırma, signification, or values, norms, language. Language is an signification structure. Signification, literature, it's a signification structure. There are meanings there, meaning construction, and interpretation, and all communication. So this is one type of structure. Now, there are also domination structures. Resources. Now, he divides resources into two: distributive resources, economic material resources. So it is it is an economic structure. It is a domination structure. There are two types of it. One is economic structure, distributive, and the second one is authoritative, political, authoritative, political. So three types of structures: signification structures, which involves interpretation and communication; domination structures, which involves power in authoritative and authority, power and authority, and economic resources. And there are also legitimation structures, third third type of structures, sanctions, norms and sanctions. He includes them in norms of and sanctions. Now, I would like to show you, as I showed you, his first book, what I called his main book, Constitution of Society. Let me go again to my page. Let me see. Where is this one? Okay, here it is. Let me. Now this is Constitution of Society, a page in Constitution of Society. Now let me see. Do you see it? Yes, you do. You see it. Maybe I can make it larger like this. Let me do this here. Structures. There are three types of structures, as you can see. First column, signification structures, domination structures, and legitimation structures. Okay, in signification structures, there is theory of coding. Now these are symbolic orders, modes of discourse, from Foucault, the order of discourse. He instead of order of discourse, modes of discourse, symbolic orders, order or modes. He uses it. Now, domination structures, two of them. One is theory of resource authorization. Now, some agents are authorized to use state powers. Authorized, if you are in an office, in a bureaucracy, you are authorized to use authority, commanding and contributing or creating action of a group of individuals, or at a societal level, or even at the global level. So theory of resource authorization, these are political institutions, and theory of resource allocation, authorization and allocation, economic institutions, economic authorization and allocation. Domination takes two forms. They are the definition of structure, resources, now authorization structures and allocation structures. Rules are in signification structures and in legitimation structures. The theory of normative regulation, legal institutions. Now here he goes into the discussion of power. How here there is this authorization. Now here he goes into a criticism of Habermas. He compares his theory and Habermas's theory. Now, he says that this structures of signification always had to be grasped in connection with domination and legitimation. You see, actually each of them, each legitimation should be understood in connection with domination and signification, or signification should be understood in connection with domination and legitimation. Once more, this bears upon pervasive influence of power, iktidar in social life. There are certain positions which have to be carefully skirted here. Thus, some relevant issues have been brought to the fore by Habermas's critique of Gadamer. Gadamer is also a phenomenologist, a philosopher. Now, Habermas criticizes him. His criticism is, he focuses, phenomenologists mostly focuses on Gadamer here focuses on linguistically saturated traditions, and according to Habermas, Gadamer fails to demonstrate that frames of meaning incorporate differentials of power. So signification incorporate domination, Habermas says. And here, actually, agrees. He agrees with Habermas, but then he differs from him. The next sentence, the criticism is valid enough. Okay, he's agreeing now. But Habermas sought to develop the point in the direction of showing the significance of systematically distorted forms of communication. Systematically distorted forms of communication. He has not been able, on this basis, however, satisfactorily to integrate the concept of power with an institutional theory. So he's saying that is what I am doing. I am combining signification structures with domination structures in such a way that I am integrating, he's saying, Giddens saying, power into institutional production of institutions, into institutional theory. Domination is not the same as systematically distorted structures of signification, because domination, as I conceive it, as he himself, Giddens, conceives of it, is the very condition of existence of codes of signification. So, what does that mean? Structures of domination. So, he gives actually priority to structure, but to structure which is virtual, and which are economic resources or authoritative resources, or rules, signification structures together. He says that they are together. Domination and power cannot be thought of only in terms of asymmetries of distribution, but have to be recognized as inherent in social association, in human action, in social. Thus, and here we must also reckon with the implications of writings of Foucault. Now he is comparing his theory now with Foucault. You see, Giddens, Habermas, and Foucault here. He says now from Foucault, power is not an inherently noxious phenomena, and not just the capacity to say no, nor can domination be transcended in some kind of putative society of future, as has been the characteristic aspiration of at least some strands of socialist thought. And then he also, through Foucault, he criticizes some socialist thought, which they hope that power, the domination of power, can be transcended in a future socialist society. No, he says, power and action, social action, are together entangled with each other, and they cannot be separated from each other. Okay, now let me send this away. I have just shown to you, actually, while you are writing your paper, midterm paper, or later your final paper, I want you to use books of the authors that you are criticizing, or articles. Take quotations from them instead of using secondary sources on them. You see, I am saying that in order I have to evaluate your paper positively. I want you to use resources that I provide to you, the books and articles and concepts I provide in the blackboard. Uh, you have to use them, not others, actually. Okay, now let me continue. Now, I said that uh, through actually mechanisms of use of power, social integration is thrown into space and time. In space and time, we can think of towards past and towards future, together with space. So the systems actually are social interaction or structuration or duality of action, creating social action through the duality of action through time and space. System integration, through system integration. Now, he says that communication technology is very important in this going from the present and here, from here and present to future or to the past, and there, from here to there, in terms of space, from here to there, and in terms of time, from this moment to the past or to the future, or to the past. Now, he says that through three inventions in history, this extension of social structures, systems of society or institutions expanded in space and time. Social relations extend. He calls this extension of social relations through power, use of power and communication, in space and time. Okay, now what are these inventions? He says one, writing. Now, 3100 BC, before Christ, before Common Era, for the first time, writing was invented. And with the invention of writing, face-to-face social integration is carried to system integration through by writing a letter. Two kings now can communicate with each other. So they started, Hittites and Egyptians, through this writing, communicated and had a war, for example, but this extension of social relations through this communication technology and through use of power became more expanded through the invention of printing machine. You see, previously, it was written into stones or into papyrus, handwritten, only few copies. But in 15th century, 1440, the year 1440, Gutenberg, as you know, invented the printing machine. Actually, it was invented in China and in the Muslim world, but it became reinvented in Europe. And with that, the scope of communication and use of power, the scope of use of power extended so much in space and time. But with two more, he says there are two more inventions in history of human societies which made system integration much more expansive. Genişlemiş to expand. Balloon expands, so social relationships expands into the space. And actually, space shrinks while, with now the third one is telegram machine. Now, telegram machine is not like writing a letter, or a book to someone, sending a written letter, through printing machine. Telegram is instant. I'll give example of Atatürk, embarking from Istanbul to Samsun, and from there to Amasya and Erzurum, and then coming to Ankara, and managing the army in the War of Liberation. Remember, now he uses telegram. Now through telegram, he is able to communicate from all these provinces, and mobilize resources. You see, now without a telegram, sending news through horses, previously it was usually horses were being used. Now, the next one, although horses are replaced with trains and cars and etc., but from the point of view of communication, satellite technology, information communication technologies, the invention of satellite in 1970. In 1970 is the fourth invention, which expanded social relations in time. So all of you with your cell phones are able to talk with your friends in the other end of this globe, this world. So your your social relationship is expanded from here to there, so many million or 1,000 kilometers, but the world shrinked. It became smaller in terms of time because you are instantly talking with that person as if that person is here, but she is there, 10,000 kilometers away, but it is brought. It is so expansion of social relationships and shrinking. You can look at it from both ways. Okay, now I have to go now into his later in his third period. As I said that he focused on dimensions of modernity and late modernity. Now, in the consequences of modernity, in that book, he talks about, he conceptualizes modernity, modern societies. Okay, now modern society at the national level, modern societies at the national level, from 17th century to 18th, 19th century. Just imagine that transformation, how gradually capitalist relations, industrial revolution, capitalist relations of economic production, and technology, a new technology, industrialism, industrial technology, and together with it, a communication and surveillance, especially the states, surveillance of the disciplining and surveillance. Surveillance is from Foucault again. The birth of prison. How going from absolute power to institutional power, from because the new disciplinary institutions, the disciplinary or panopticon type of institutions makes surveillance of a population through an institution possible. Surveillance and military organization. If surveillance is not enough, then use of force, use of violence. So 4 dimensions of modernity at the national level are capitalism, industrialism, surveillance, and military organizations. Now, but now we are not, people are not anymore living, actually, according to Habermas, from 15th century, 16th century onward, people were living at the global level or world system level. Now, when we think of at the world system level, that is from point of view of Giddens, global modernity is made up of a capitalist world economy, a capitalist world economy, a global division of labor. Now, instead of at the national level industrialism, global division of labor. A third dimension becomes global system of nation states. Surveillance becomes global system of nation states, and military organization becomes world military system. So these are global level, a global level, global economy, capitalist economy, a global division of labor, or and at the economic, political, social levels, technological, scientific levels, and how there's a system of nation states Actually, this nation-state system existed from 17th century onward. The Westphalian Agreement, international agreement. And says Giddens, eventually we are living at the edge of history. We are living or of the age of world, of the age of world. We are living in a high opportunity and high risk society. High opportunity and high risk. Okay, opportunities there are, but there are also risks. Bauman here, remember Bauman's solid modernity compares to Giddens's national level modernity, whereas his late modernity or global modernity corresponds to Bauman's fluid modernity. Fluid modernity. You know, here you can compare Giddens and Bauman. Also, in coming weeks, we will talk about Beck and his risk society approach. Okay, now let me stop here and ask you